Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Ripple partner with the largest bank in Egypt to process cross-border payments. Look, this is the kind of work that Ripple have been pursuing and doing and make happen for many, many years now. And the truth is, to add to all of this, is that they have really, and I truly believe over the coming months and years, we're going to continue to find out that Ripple, the XRP ledger, ILP, Interledger Protocol, all of these things are going to prove to be the mesh that holds the world and brings it together from where we are now to where we are going. Make no mistake about it. And we are moving somewhere very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. And Russia's headed there in a hurry. Take a look at this. This came out today. Shout out to Rob Cunningham. 52 foreign organizations from 12 countries have joined the Russian analog of SWIFT. This is all about building a new financial system to obfuscate SWIFT, ladies and gentlemen. And they are having people join them. This is not a solo effort. Now, I want to keep moving because we have a lot to look at here. This here is an article that was just recently put out also, and it's Russia's Sergei Gazliev introduces a new global financial system. All of this backs it up here, talking about liberate the global south from both Western debt and IMF-induced austerity. You know, this is what they're after. And if you look down in this section right here, you are at the forefront of a game-changing geo-economic development. The design of a new monetary financial system, an association between the EAEU and China bypassing the US dollar, ladies and gentlemen, with a draft soon to be concluded. Could you possibly advance some of the features of this system, which it certainly is not a Bretton Woods 3, but seems to be a clear alternative to the Washington Consensus, a very close to the necessities of the global South. This is what they're after, and I find it to be, listen, and I mean, this just came out just 4 days ago. This article just came out today. This is happening, and it puts a lot of context for me into the group of 30 that came out a year or two ago from group of 30, which had Mark Carney involved, right? Which we know, by the way, said in 2019, you could use something like Ripple and the virtual currency exchange and XRP to leapfrog slow and expensive correspondent banking. Why? Because it says it has raised questions on whether the globally coordinated systemic hegemonic currency could dampen the spillover shocks associated with the dominance of the US dollar reserve currency as a reserve currency. This is what they're talking about. Then November of 2021, just months ago, we had the World Bank refer to stablecoins being XRP and XLM. What are banks going to be most comfortable with? Central bank digital currencies and highly supervised stable coins. What is the real problem? This is Barry Eichengreen, who was a guest on Blockstars with David Schwartz on their podcast just a year or so ago. And he's talking about the Triffin dilemma here, which is the strain on the US dollar as the global reserve currency. Take a quick listen here. We got a lot to look at yet. Take a listen.
And if it really is the case that you get less stimulus to exports and less oomph from monetary policy generally, I think it's incumbent on all of us to think about what to do instead. So is this project an argument for fiscal policy? That's depressing, because fiscal policy is heavily politicized. Fiscal policy works with even longer lags typically than monetary policy. What do we need to do in terms of reforming our fiscal institutions if we're going to have to rely on them more heavily?
Here we go.
And the second part of the question would be, what do we have to do to get out of this position of dollar dominance? Because it has the undesirable effect of weakening monetary policy, and it will run up sooner or later against the 21st century Triffin dilemma problem.
He's telling you right here in an IMF webinar that we covered back when it went on, and it was, let's see when this was very quickly, if I could say. It's not showing it, so I can't say it. But nevertheless, when we covered this from the IMF a year and a half ago, they were discussing the problem, which they consider a problem, the US dollar dominance running up against the Triffin dilemma, which means that it is at a breaking point, that it's serving as the world's global reserve currency and still trying to serve as a national dollar to the United States. Now, what does that mean? It means that we're looking at a new Bretton Woods moment that Kristalina Georgie was calling for. But very quickly, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this section, because I know a lot of you have seen this before, but I want to tell you, a new Bretton Woods moment. What was the old Bretton Woods moment? It was the US dollar introduced as a global reserve currency, and it was backed by gold at that time. So a new Bretton Woods moment suggests that we should be getting a new currency, and if we're listening to Barry Eichengreen, it maybe is not going to be a national currency, or we're going to run into that same problem with the Triffin dilemma at some point in the future. But however, if we're going to have a new currency and it's going to need to be backed by gold the way the original Bretton Woods global reserve currency, the US dollar, was, you're going to need to have a decentralized ledger that's tapped into gold. And how about this for a reminder right here? Yeah, shout out to Big Skinny, right? Throwing up the reminders on this one here. Take a look at this. Because if you look at this, all the way back in 2014, this is why I say this is not as simple as Jack Mullers and Strike and Lightning doing what they're doing. Back in 2014, this came out in 2015, Ripple Singapore, the world's first Ripple gold and silver gateway. Because if you think of it, it's XRP, and everyone says XRP backed by gold. What really needs to happen is the XRP ledger, which is a decentralized exchange for the world, and all the money needs to have collateralized gold on it. That'll bring the confidence of everybody in the world, whether they're allies or enemies, to be able to use something like this. And understanding that Russia today has got 52 foreign organizations in 12 countries joining their new financial system. Has there ever been more demand than right now for a new decentralized ledger and a bridge currency to settle all the money for these fractionalized zones that are being created because of everyone ditching the dollar and or SWIFT. Take a look at this, because that brings us to what we just heard going into the weekend. Michael Barr, the former Ripple advisor, former Treasury member, now being nominated for the vice chair for supervision of the Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's dig into this a little bit, because there's some interesting things here that I just want to cover. First of all, we know that Michael Barr joined Ripple back as an advisor in 2015. He was at the Treasury before that. He was nominated when the Biden administration first won the presidency to be the head of the OCC. He did not get that and is now being nominated as the vice chair for supervision of the Federal Reserve. Now, what's important here is that he will be key in roles to craft regulations for stable coins and cryptocurrency. Now, take a look at this, because this isn't the first time that Michael Barr has played a key role. He played a critical role in creating the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the position for which he is being nominated now, the FRB Vice Chair Supervision, and in securing the passage of Dodd-Frank. Now, this is pretty incredible, because I tell you, Barr is credited with playing key roles in crafting Dodd-Frank and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But the same Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that also in 2021 or 2020,
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.